2023 Eugene Planning Commission meeting. I'd like to call this meeting to order. My name is Dan Isaacson. I'm the chair of the Eugene Planning Commission. To begin this evening, I'd like to read the acknowledgement statement, but for some reason that is not coming up on my computer, so I may have to skip that. I apologize. Thanks to everyone for joining us in this virtual meeting format. At today's meeting, the Planning Commission will continue deliberations and make a recommendation to the City Council on the MIMS housing historic zone change. There are several housekeeping announcements and instructions related to the meeting format that I need to take care of first. Anyone wishing to join the meeting online can do so by following the instructions listed on the agenda for this meeting. Planning Commission meetings can also be viewed by watching the live stream available on our website or the broadcast on Comcast Channel 21. For those who join the meeting via computer, device, phone, your microphone, webcam, and phone are automatically muted when you enter the meeting as an attendee. For our main agenda item, I'd like to turn it over to Josh Hoff to begin the staff presentation. Following the staff presentation, the Commission will have the opportunity to ask questions and begin deliberations. Josh.
Thank you, Chair. Hello, thank you for having me. My name is Josh Hoff. I'm an associate planner with the City of Eugene, and I'm here to talk about the MIMS houses zone change application, otherwise identified as Z23-1. This presentation is intended to serve as a reminder of the key points of this proposal and summarize the activity that occurred from the time of this application's public hearing held on July 11, 2023. Reminder that this is a proposal to change the zoning of the subject property. The existing zoning is R2 medium density residential zone with a 20-unit residential density range maximum overlay zone. The proposed zone is a historic MIMS houses special area zone. A special area zone is a type of zoning applied to areas within the city that possess distinctive features, or distinctive buildings or natural features of significance to the community, in which the implementation of conservation or development measures that cannot be achieved through achieved through application of a standard base zone. This special area zone may have an opportunity to permit. A special historic zone, a flavor of a special zone, applies to specific sites that have specific buildings, structures, objects, or archaeological resources that qualify as historic landmarks. As is the case here, in which this site contains the MIMS Houses 1 and MIMS Houses 2, located at the corner of High Street and East 3rd Alley. As mentioned, MIMS House 1, MIMS House 2 are located on the site. MIMS House 1 built in approximately 1867 and moved to the site sometime between 1918 and 1921. MIMS House 2 built approximately 1870. Both resources are within the East Skinner Butte Historic Landmark Area that was established in 1979. That East Skinner Butte Historic Landmark Area was listed in the National Register of Historic Places in 1982. This zone change is proposed on the site to, as in the words of the applicant, to help ensure the long-term preservation of the MIMS houses and continue the site's productive use and historic role in the community as a place of rest, refuge, and resources for Eugene's historically disadvantaged BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, and people of color community. This proposed zone would change a number of elements from its existing zoning, from its existing zone. But in brief, three elements stand out in that This would be a change in the allowed uses within the zone, including to allow by right a club and lodge of state or national organizations such as the NAACP. There would be no effective change to the resultant number of required off-street parking spaces for existing and proposed uses within this newly established zone, and no change to the proposed density. No proposed change to the existing maximum density standard of 20 units per net acre. From the last time that this application was in front of this body, the staff has received additional testimony within the open record period. This is a memo of support from Eugene's Historic Review Board, and all testimony, including that memo, was forwarded to the Planning Commission prior to us meeting today, and the record closed on August 11th at the applicant's request. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission recommend approval to the City Council of an ordinance establishing the historic MIMS houses special area zone at 330, 334, and 336 High Street. In this deliberation, I want to extend a reminder to please base your decision on the applicable approval criteria alongside the arguments and evidence in the record. And that in the Eugene Code, quasi-judicial procedures list that no member of the hearings body may discuss or vote on a matter when any of the following has a direct or substantial pecuniary interest in the matter. The member of the member's spouses, brother, sister, child, parent, father-in-law, or mother-in-law, any organization or business in which the member is then serving as an officer or director or employee, or has so served within the previous 2 years, or any business with which the member is negotiating for or has an arrangement or understanding concerning a prospective partnership, employment, or other business affiliation. The member owns all or a portion of the property that is the subject of the matter before the hearings body, or owns abutting or adjacent property, or the member has a direct personal interest in the matter, or for any other reason cannot participate in the hearing and decision impartially. With this known, if I could have a raise of hand, if applicable for you, does any commissioner feel they cannot make an unbiased decision? Okay. Does any commissioner wish to abstain? I see no hands. With that, I want to thank you for your time, and I am here to answer questions if there are any. I'd like to hand it back to Chair Isaacson.
Well, thank you. Discussions from other commissioners. Mr. Ramey.
Thank you, Chair Isaacson. I just wanted to be clear about my participation this evening. I did go back and listen to the hearing, and I went through the testimony that was submitted and other data that was submitted before us, and I believe that makes me an effective commissioner and able to participate in tonight's event. So just want to make that clear.
Thank you. Other items for discussion from other commissioners? Questions? Not seeing these. I think that would mean that you're essentially off the hook, Mr. Hoff. Lauren, should we proceed on, or do we want to have a motion? Is that where you proceed? Oh, Commissioner Frankel, excuse me.
Frankel has hand up, yeah.
I have a motion.
Okay.
I move that the Planning Commission recommend that the City Council approve an ordinance establishing the proposed historic MIMS houses special area zone as described in Attachment B to the AIS for the properties located at 330, 334, and 336 High Street, and adopt the findings proposed in attachment C to this AIS.
Second. Moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Lear seconds. Commissioner Franklin, would you like to speak to your motion?
Yes, I believe that this proposal meets all the application criteria, and I think it's a good thing to be doing for a variety of reasons. We talked about it in our previous meeting. It seemed to be well supported, and I'd like to recommend to City Council that they approve this ordinance.
Any other commissioners who wish to speak to the motion? Commissioner Lear.
Yeah, it was heartening to see so much work and so much effort expended to make this happen. I felt very positively toward this in our last meeting on the subject, and I've seen no additional testimony to convince me that it's anything but a slam dunk. So it seems like full support.
Thank you, Commissioner Lear. Any other comments from other commissioners before we move? All right, I'm going to call the question. All those in favor of the motion as stated by Commissioner Franklin, please by raising your hand. That's all those opposed. The Commission approves it unanimously. Thank you. This is moving well and pretty quickly. Moving on to the next item on our agenda is items from Commission and staff. Is there anything from staff that'd like to make us aware? Jeff?
I'll offer, is there anything that any other commissioners would like to bring up before I kind of wrap up with some final thoughts that from the planning director's perspective? Seeing none, I'll just go ahead and just let you know that our next meeting is currently scheduled for September 19th. We don't have any items for that meeting yet, so it's potential that it might be canceled. But following that, starting on September 26th with a hearing on a Metro Plan Amendment zone change that yours truly will bring to you. And then moving into October, November, we have a very full schedule. So just FYI for everyone on that. September 18th, the City Council has a pretty full public hearing schedule, mostly full of work that you have all brought forward to them. So that's our CFAC parking reform will be going for a public hearing that evening. The Skinner Butte Height Amendment will be going that evening, as well as now the Mims Houses Special Historic Zone will be going that evening. So it is going to be a busy time for City Council with a lot of exciting projects. And then finally, just as an exciting piece of news, Lauren let us know today that we officially are probably most likely almost 100% out of the window for appeal on the Willamette Greenway Code amendments. So just want to give everybody a round of applause on a really, really good set of code amendments, but also just a really robust public process in which you as the Planning Commission really held us to a high standard and really worked hard to create a set of standards that reflect kind of the values and goals that our community have for the Willamette River, the Willamette Greenway, and those areas around it. So thank you all for your hard work on that, and exciting news that that'll be going into effect. And that's all the items you have from me. Lauren, do you have anything?
I would just jump in and add, I think you probably all saw the email, but Rebecca Gershow sent an email to you today that DLCD has approved urban reserves. So all kinds of things are happening.
Well, great. It sounds like we are ready to go. So this meeting of the Eugene Planning Commission is now adjourned.
Excellent.
Thank you. Good evening.
Thanks, everyone.
No.